All right, guys. Welcome to Establish This Episode 6. I am Rob D. And today we're going to discuss a few things that has percolated throughout the week. And I feel like I will bring it up because it's about letting it go and understanding what part of life are you in and if it's worth it, right? Um, so, welcome to Established. And this is Rob D. And I want you to know that no matter what you do, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be okay. So first of all, I want to just bring up that rest in peace, Jerry Springer. If you're from the '90s and you like Jerry Springer, then you know that this guy was amazing. Also, as of the filming of this, we just found out that the Heat beat the crap out of the Knicks, and Jimmy Butler might be the MVP. And the game right now that's going on is just the Golden State games. I think Golden State was leading as I left. So it was beating Sacramento, and of course, if you don't watch NHL, watch a few NHL games. We're in the playoffs. Um, the Rangers are on the brink to losing. I like this team called Kraken just for the name. I mean, Kraken sounds amazing. So just that, Lightning, Tampa Bay, that they're winning. That hockey team is like built to win championships every year. And besides sports, it's been raining. It's been raining like for 50 years. I mean, 50 days, and I'm tired of the rain now. By the time I don't care what people do outside. I'm like, look, I don't care. It's raining. You could go rob a bank if you want. I don't really care. Um, just the rain is taking over, and I also um, I'm tired of this allergy. The allergy is just kicking ass. It's just the worst. So with that, I'm gonna go into established. So episode 6. Let's go at it. That there's a lot of people that are hurt that are feeling it. Um, and whatever happened in the past, you just gotta let it go. Let it go. Move on. Move on from that. You need to fulfill your life. You need to do things in your future. Prepare today for your future. That if you don't let go, it's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life. Um, making stupid decisions as in economic, right? Finances. You're spending so much money back then, and now you're like, man, if I would have just saved up a few bucks, forget about that. You don't have time to worry about that because one, we can't bring back the past, but second, and the most important thing is that that was part of your experience about learning. There's no one can teach you anything unless you want to be taught, but if you are one of those people like everybody, I don't know who doesn't learn by experience, not just by someone telling you not to do something. You're gonna learn the hard way. Spending money is one of those crazy parts that uh, if you bought like a few cars, if you spent it all on gambling, if you were on drugs and you spent, you were broke, you were you know uh, doing stuff, butt naked in the corner. Hey, that was just part of life. That's the experience. It's never too late to learn, but of course, it is always too late not to understand that you have to let it go. And if you still have some type of qualm, if you're still pissed off at somebody over anything, let it slide. So, what are the things that you have to let go? The things that really are important to let go. That I am speaking from experience, and besides the money part, I didn't make bad decision when it came to education. I actually was pretty much in school. So, but many people they regret not going to school. School's not for everybody. If you didn't go to school, don't think it's because you didn't like it. It was part of that. It was too challenging, too uncomfortable. There was too much information you couldn't process at the time. That even if you wanted to, you felt like you were, the competition in the classroom wasn't enough. So you just left. You just like I'm not gonna learn, the 12 times table. I'm not gonna know. I'm not gonna learn about physics, chemistry, or whatever crap they put out. Even the spelling. After a while of being in school, it just it's just not for you. So you just stop. And if you drop out, then if you drop out just because of the academics, because deep inside you knew you couldn't meet the expectations in school, it's okay. One thing that you have to do now is learn from that experience, because that's gonna help you, be more challenge yourself, and have more chuspa, more guts, and be able to confront any situation without feeling uncomfortable, and scared. So the challenge is there. You don't have to be brave. You just have to accept and try step by step to try your best. Never giving up, because if you give up, that's going to be an issue. So, you know, letting go that trauma that you were picked on in school or whatever. You just let it go. Let it slide. Let it slide, because unfortunately, that's how life is. That's what life. That was the environment, the people, everything. You just have to adjust, and either you were picked on or you picked on somebody. I mean, that's the hierarchy. That's the way the animal kingdom works. And if you're at the bottom of the eating food chain, then you're gonna have to be the mass. The mass is the one that's at the bottom. So you just like everybody else, and as long as you know that, and if you didn't know that, but most of us are the norm. Very few people, like Albert Einstein, like what Michael Jordan, LeBron, like Steph. I mean, it's all skills, but you got to be crazy nice with it. Cooking, Chef Pepin. There's no such thing as Chef Pepin, but there has to be a like 50, Bobby Flay, and every but there's only a few people that can do that. So you like everybody else. You just got to work hard on one thing and just try to be the best at it. Don't regret past relationships. That's the one that most people are harking on. That they're just living life, regretting. Either being with somebody that they wasted their time. You never wasted your time. You were there because you wanted to be. And if you spent 20 years, unless you were getting beat and you were just plain old scared most of the time, you were in a relationship because it was a good thing for you at the moment, at the time. It was the best thing for you. So don't regret that. Be thankful that you were able to be in a relationship for X amount of years. Not the part where you got cheated, or if you got cheated, or that you were going through hardships or anything. But if it was the financial part, that's just stupid. If you were regretting that, because financials are always an issue, no matter what you have. Every time you think you made it, something bad happens, and you have to put all your money into it, especially if you get sick, right? So if you have these regrets on that, I had a husband that was a piece of shit. He never cooked for me. He never took me out. He never cared about me. Never cared about how I felt. Well, that's just part of being in a relationship, I think. I mean, not that I think, it is. That's just how it is. You both together because you like each other, but also because you're gonna work each other and make yourself, better individually. You're gonna work yourself into this relationship where you need to be able to understand the next person. But if you, after 20 years, find out that you were not compatible, you were not going to be compatible. I mean, you were compatible the first 2 weeks that you met, and then as you get to learn about each other, you kind of separated, and you figure out a way to get together again. So that if it's going to last more than 20 years, you just can't regret that you're with that person, because sometimes that's probably the best that you can get. That's probably who you are. So most of the time, you're going to get the people that reflect on you. You're a reflection of the person you're with. And if you're alone, that's because you haven't found the reflection, or you just haven't found, you haven't built up yourself to be able to catch somebody. So you got to work on that. Well, I got to work on that, but it's okay. We're all working on it. Oh, this Sam Adams porch rocker. This shit's the shitness. Get it? Tastes so good. Um, so besides, being in a relationship that you don't like with women, let's say a man, he's like, oh, she cheated on me. Uh, the warnings were there. You would have known, and it just you could have, even if you would have worked it out. If someone was going to cheat, they're going to do it not here, but maybe 5 years down the road. But in any relationship, after a couple of years, there's a chance that this person might want to cheat. Things come up, they just at work or something. So you just gotta believe, trust, and not regret. And if it happens because of that happened, if you fail and you break up in a relationship because of that, then that's just part of life. That's just how it is. Don't regret it, because then you're taking this to the next relationship and you're going to be regretting it too. Just like if you have regrets on your financial situation, now you become like mad cheap, and you're like a Scrooge, and you don't spend money, you don't enjoy the luxuries of life. You're gonna have people, and you don't help. Um, you gotta, in charity, if you could help, help the needy, help people that are in need, that works. Um, one thing I have to say is that when you are in a financial, when you're feeling horrible, if you do have to, God is there. He's Some people might not believe in God, but so I do. I believe in God, and I believe that different ways of knowing God, but there had to be somebody that made something. So just don't regret either spending too much money, being in a relationship. And then when it comes to one of the other things that people regret is not be able to catch, to monetize, to take advantage of a certain situation in life. Like I should have, I could have been a basketball player, and I could have done better if I would have just focused more. Well, the reason you didn't focus more probably was because you were distracted over many different things. But now, looking it back, the distractions were probably there for a reason. Maybe you weren't as as ecstatic, enthusiastic as to like whatever you're watching. So whatever you're doing. So if it's sports, unless you have like a natural calling and you know that that's exactly what you want to do, you want to become a doctor. No matter what you do, you always end up working with people on the service level. If you want to be a priest, and after like 20 years, all of a sudden you can't help it, and you have a wife. For Catholics, that's just a no, but in other religions you can marry. But I think as a priest they have to die virgin. That's just crazy, but that's the Catholic way, you know. And but you can't regret that you couldn't do anything with with your life, because you were able to do something and you just didn't take advantage of it. So instead of maximizing it, you let it get through your fingers, and now you're 20 years later, and you're probably like 20 pounds overweight. You're letting life take you down. You look annoyed. You look pissed. And these are all signs of being regretful. Being not happy with the present moment, and that's what it is. This is all about being happy with the present moment. And if you're not happy with the present moment, erase the regrets, move forward. Of course, there's going to be more things that are going to come up in the future that you might regret ahead. Like in my experience, I tried to buy a house. I bought my first home, and I didn't do enough research. Right, you do as much research as you can, but there's certain things that you don't know. You fix, you invest, and you put all this money, and then you find out that you should have saved more money for a rainy day. And even though you couldn't, there were things you could have done differently that would allowed you to be somewhat successful. But I dropped the ball there. So I was in hardship, and then COVID hit, and then that was like the best experience I ever had, because it taught me that no matter how hard you work for something, no matter how much you dream for it, it could be gone in a second, and that makes you appreciate it even more. Uh, I took horrible tenants, and that was a horrible experience. But I don't regret now after thinking about it, and that's only been a year after seeing what transpired since. The experience I have, the the amount of energy that I used, made me realize that you can't regret. You did the best with what you had, and that's all you could go with. Success doesn't come by winning; it's by all the failures. So instead of regretting it, unfortunately, you just gotta accept it and try to learn from it. And if you forget, then you're gonna fail again, and until you don't remember. and you might be too late. The day you're late, it's like when you die. It's too late. When you pass away. If you have a terminal illness, it's when you find out that you have this terminal illness. Now you just, for the rest of the X amount of years you have left with this illness, you're probably going to be more excited about living and less regretful of what you did in the past, because every day is a new day. It's a gift. It's a present. Um, that's why I love what Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda is the real. You learn a lot from that little panda and the turtle guy. I forgot the name of the turtle guy, but he died, and then he was like all yeah, he was Zen like, and he gave you so much advice. It was ridiculously cool. Live life, no regrets. Don't take anything personal either. When people give you advice, whether it's positive or not, you take it, because you don't know. Maybe that advice, if you take it, you might lead to something else, to do something better. Uh, and then when it comes to, let's say, regretting, also being, well, not regretting, but just feeling bad, feeling horrible, feeling hurt that you weren't born with, the best of anything. You were born poor, let's say. There's people poorer than us, poorer than you. um, if you're watching this, you're probably richer than a lot of people that barely could watch anything because they don't even have internet, and this is on YouTube. So even if it's free, somebody's got to pay for the internet, right? So there's always someone worse. There's always someone worse, someone else that's had it, that has his head in the toilet, and he's trying to get out. She or he trying to get out, and they're having a difficult time. Don't regret. Some people regret that, when it comes to like the physical part. Like, you see people that might not have legs, might missing an arm, and they have a reason to feel horrible, right? Because they're missing and they don't have the ability to compete like most of us that are just lazy, kind of. I mean, no, you know what? We're lazy. If you don't do enough for yourself, if you just sleep all day and you don't care about yourself enough to wake up and do 50 push-ups, 6 setups, write a poem, talk to somebody, call somebody you love, listen to something, learn something new, try to do something better for yourself tomorrow, figure out how to save money for the week, try to help out somebody else. If you're not doing something with your life, then you're just wasting it. So that could be a regret, and you could be regretful for future stuff that you might do, because what you're doing now is going to be something. Whatever you do now, you could regret. If any regret you might have is the fact that you're not doing anything like if you see yourself right now and you see yourself doing exactly the same thing, that's a regret right there, because you have a chance to change, and if you're not doing it, it's because you don't want to. So if anything, right now, who you are today, if you see yourself not doing anything better or doing something, uh, besides dying, doing something positive in life, then that's a regret, because there's so many opportunities out there. As per the young children, young kids being run right now, the biggest regret right now you might have, that if you don't take care of it now, is just learning what to learn, how to take advantage of education. Education is key for anyone under 25. Education is key. Try to learn as much as you can, because at one point, the age is going to come haunt you, not because of you, but because people are going to, dictate, and they're going to perceive you a certain way because of the age. Once you're 40, you could, of course, you could want to be a doctor, but um, there's certain things that if you're a certain age, it's going to be more difficult for you to make a life, to make an income, to be, the only thing you could do as you get older is give more advice, because you're learning so much. So someone young, you don't give advice, you take advice just because of your age, but don't regret that you were born without a Maserati, without the best hair, the best looks, because all that fades anyway. The looks, all that, the physical, abilities, they fade. But if you don't, if you, instead of regretting, or instead of feeling a certain way, um, pitiful towards yourself, female, male, just look at it where I'm here now, and this is what I want to do. Do not change for someone else. Do not lose weight because you want to look sexy. Do not lose weight because you want to go to the beach. You want to lose weight because you can live longer. And then second, Of course, for financial reasons, it looks like it's cheaper to be healthy, as in your clothes. If you're trying to get like a car insurance, Social Security, to they treat you a certain way if you have a certain weight or look. So even with clothes, it's so much of expensive. So you're trying to lose weight because it could save you money. Plain and simple. The more money you have, the better off you'll be. And if you don't have enough money, then don't worry. Live within the means, because that's the way we all have to do. Try to take advantage of the little bit of money you have. So if you make $400 a week, then unfortunately we have to try to live off 300, $200 would be better, but that's almost impossible because you have to pay rent and spend bills. But now, if you do live together with a couple of people, and it's something where if you do the math, you will not regret being with them. So it's a bunch of friends, and you guys are doing the same thing, same positive idea, and you want to do something together, then that works out. So that's investing in a group. So five people move in together, and each one saves their own money so they can afford buying their own house, buying their car. Then you have more leverage if you're able to spend more money and date or meet someone, because you put yourself in a better predicament. You're able to go to the gym, make yourself look healthy. You're able to clean yourself up more often. You don't look tired. All that, if you are in a group environment where you invest time and you guys live together, then that is great. But if you do move in with a few people and then one guy's a drunk, the other guy's a crackhead, or he's smoking mad weed and he's not helping out, another guy's just in the middle of the living room, he's a pyromaniac, and another guy that he's just too crazy, and then you are focused trying to work, that's going to be distracting. So you don't need distractions, and no one needs distractions. The only distraction should be if you want to do something positive that day, and you want to you want to open up a mini store, you want to sell something, and you're opening up a shop in a park, and then there's like 20 people playing frisbee, somebody playing football, you're trying to sell stuff, and you just have too many people. That's just for that's a distraction, but that's just part of the environment. You just gotta understand and accept it. But a distraction where you home, you working the entire day, and now you have people, doing drugs probably, or probably making noise, and you're not getting your plenty of rest. Unfortunately, you could deal with this distraction for so long, but this is something that's negative, so you have to leave. You have to make moves, because then that technically could become a regret. But you're also learning of what not to do when you see people doing around you the wrong things. So that's a positive. You're there, you're learning. You're learning what not to do. Because instead of regretting, you should be focused and looking around you to see what is positive, what isn't. I don't see any shape now at this age. I don't see any time when you can regret so much, because it's just an experience. It's just being part of in life. I don't think that there's a lot of things that you can fail in, because you have to fail. So if you're seeing this, and you're trying to pick something up, is that you got to do everything. You got to do it. You got to fail 98% of the time. For me, you fail every time. The more you fail, you got to fail. You got to try everything. You got to try skateboarding. You got to try riding a bike. Try to get into a relationship. You got to try to do exercise. And then you hurt your hips, or you break your bones, or you try to read, and you're going blind, and now you're losing your eyesight because you're focusing too much. You're trying to spend more time awake so you can do more stuff during the day, and then it comes out that you didn't sleep enough. So one day you fall asleep, and while you're driving, you crash into something because you didn't rest enough. There's a bunch of things that that you do that might be counterproductive, but you got to do it anyway. You got to do it. You got to do as much as you can, because that's it. Living with regret is not going to help you. Many people, when it comes to child support, which is the main thing, when people have when you are in a payment plan and you can't meet the payments, and you're barely making those payments, you can't regret having these kids. You can't regret being in a relationship with that person, because like in a relationship, like with everything else, it started off really beautiful, it just went downhill, and now you guys have to just accept it. Respect the time that you guys had together. That's the way you overcome this regret, is by respecting and understanding that this happened for a reason. You were together, you made great kids, And now, whether you want to or not, they're there, and someone's got to feed them, and that's not their fault. I mean, they would try to feed themselves if they could, but they can't work from 9 to 5 or the midnight shift, which is a really tough one when you work the night shift. Shout out to everybody out there that works the night shift. Randy, you're like a champ because I don't think I could do it. Let me take this quick break because I'm drinking another shot. This is pretty. It's like sour. It's like a sour beer. You know. It's a bit different from drinking wine, buttered wine. Um, it's good, and people don't understand how much regret takes over your soul and how little opportunity you have to give yourself a new experience. Because with regret, you'll never, if you're in regret your entire life, you're gonna die with regret. It's the worst part. You gotta change that mindset from regret of, I don't know, positive, whatever is opposite of regret. I hope it's in there somewhere. I hope it came up. But whatever is opposite of regret, that's what you do. You stay positive, and you look forward to having similar experience, because you're gonna, you're gonna get out of it, or you're gonna learn from it. But when it comes to child bearing, child caring, child fostering, the part that you're going to be there for your children economically if you can, of course, there's not the only way. You can always be there to just help, like we discussed in many episodes. But don't regret having these kids. Don't regret being in this position, because they're here for a reason. And not that you're here, it's your duty to do your job. Now is your job. Just to stop, put that face that you need to change and make things better, and you have to figure it out. No one cares. This world is not for everybody. Out of a billion sperm cells and a billion ovaries, and only a handful are brought to this world that they make it through abortion. And once you're born, you're gonna live your whole life regretting everything. You don't have time for that. I mean, even when you get self-inflicted, let's say, unfortunately, it's not bad. It's not the end of the world. But let's say you get HIV, and now you got to stay positive. You got to make life, and you got to learn from that. And don't be, there's nothing wrong with it, because of there's nothing you can do. You got to be positive. Don't regret being with with a certain person, because the person didn't do it on purpose probably, and sexual activities just happen random. It's a passion. It's hot. You could wear a condom 30,000 times, and then you take it off, and that one time is it, because it's human, and the way humans work, that's what you got to do. I don't The only thing you can do is change the future. You can change the future. You just make a simple action today that will change the future. And with that said, I think that I hope that I spoke enough into bringing light to your life, because there's so many good things it can do. Once you let regret go, you can find somebody, you can learn from experience, and you can have somebody in your life. You can save money, you can put money in the bank, you can stop smoking, you can stop doing drugs, you can stop drinking, which I think I should stop drinking as much. But one porch rocker a day might not be that bad, you know what I'm saying? Because it tastes so good. It's just about vibing, and living with regrets, learning something, something new. And even if you learn French and then you regret it because no one speaks French like that, it's okay. Um, you know, it's what you want to do. What's easier for you? Because maybe it's not easy for you to learn French, but it's easy to learn Italian. Leave this episode wanting to do one thing for 2024 that will make you not regret as much, and put light into your life. Make it shine. Make it work, because we only live once, and that's a fact. So you can't regret living more than once, because it's impossible.